We never really thought of it next morning, because like, if I worked on it last time, like, it came out of huge volume because of what it wanted to do all weekend, so it's gonna be interesting to see.
Wow.
6:30 in the morning.
In our yards.
Exciting time. I'm in early morning. Because the dogs have to run there. I don't know, it's older than I
Rocio, turn off that, your steam was right.
Yeah, please.
Right. Yeah, three people up at that order of it.
Thanks for bringing it up. I was thinking,
And I not bring a sweater for later. Okay.
Yeah, oh, problem was it's right there.
I know.
Oh, look at that, it's closed.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's like, oh my gosh.
And I heard about this. Yeah, that's.
Got it?
Yeah.
Gosh,
Make sure that
yeah, that's something I always, even though I didn't know. I probably.
perfect. Yeah, we have not been one of the three.
And your.
You know, and I usually work.
The best thing is, like, you know, that's right on the curve.
Yeah.
Where you can meet and have some time or some beers, and the best will be entertainment.
So next year, I'm going to.
Make sure it's written up. Guys, they didn't get the both sides. So. Until. And then it takes a while.
It's like their show track.
Yeah, it is.
Much like interest laughing.
Yes, thank you.
We had some friends that actually, went out to 1882 up top. And watched it from above here and they said. well,
I bet,
Yeah.
That's actually a fun place to go up. We went.
Did we?
Well, I mean, I guess, there's no.
Most like.
Yeah.
Restaurant is on the top.
Oh.
Being
And
cheap,
I
right?
think a lot of that.
I know where it is.
Yeah.
Appreciate the opportunity. Yeah.
Suddenly, I feel like, just like.
I sort of.
It's not that. But it's just. I feel like I'm. And now, here I am, I don't know, it's true.
So I haven't forgot about.
Yeah.
I haven't forgot about.
Yeah, so, yeah.
I was at the chatting board.
But we need to do this. Stop.
Yeah.
There's so much.
And it's the Dayton. Because I'm just a company that tries to. The person was trying to. Wednesday, and two sisters from Saturday. No, this is an urban renewal. So we try to have it last year. You know what I mean? After. Oh, no, that's just we're done. Yeah, because we're already done. Because all the budget meeting is after that, because we advertised it. Well, I'm still good. You're still opening for this meeting, and then just mark down when we're done. We'll see if there's a thing to do. That, you're just gonna end up making that. End the meeting and say we are having an intermission for X number of minutes before 7 o'clock.
Small town.
And then you'll get.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? URA budget.
Oh, yeah. That's not.
Yeah, they get 6 people half an hour.
Everybody support them. And we get Jeremy involved too.
I just believe I don't turn it over to.
Pop up something.
No, because this is just the URA.
Supper.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Are we ready to get started?
Oh, she is the chair of.
What is?
Daniel is the chair of the budget committee.
Oh, you have an
announcement chair for the budget committee, you are.
No,
Reservation.
recording is
Who's got something? We're gonna definitely.
we're not ready. The meeting,
Saturday?
the regular budget meeting is not scheduled until 7. We cannot start until 7. Intermission.
Six? Go. Is that on their website?
Okay, let me call this meeting to order at 6:32 p.m. It looks like we're missing a couple of. We're missing Councilor Wilson.
He's up.
Today's on there.
Ah, okay. Looks like we have a full house.
That's it, Leonzo.
All right. I hope this everybody's new. Do we have any interested citizens? Judy, all right, oh.
We have a good budget.
You want to get up there now?
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you please join me in the pledge? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are you first on the list?
I think I'm on 6:30. Are you for URA your budget, Judy? I'm here for a 6:30 public opportunities meeting. Excellent. Well, you're in the right place. Absolutely.
So just for clarification,
Do I turn the meeting over to you?
so
Okay. Discussion of, well. Do we all know where we're at?
No.
If I clarify, because this is a urban renewal agency budget meeting, and Daniel Holbrook is the chair, he continues as the chair until to the end of today's session.
Thank you, that's what I.
But we're not starting the budget meeting until 7.
They're two separate budget meetings, they're both budget meetings.
Right, I understand that, but I'm talking the city budget.
Right, this is the URA budget. meeting.
Right, until. Never mind.
all right, so we've gone through call to order, pledge of allegiance. And roll call and assurance of interested citizens. We have 2 people that have signed up to speak. Gerard, would you like to go ahead?
I will. Before I start my public comments, however, I want to say that I am an advocate for watching these meetings online, perhaps after the fact, with popcorn, whatever, but just as a viewer, this is kind of smudgy sometimes, and also the acoustics are like, and so turning on the closed caption is very helpful. And then having the proper link when you go as a citizen to look at an agenda and you click on something, you'd like to be able to take it to the YouTube and not something that says it was pulled down. So I've now mentioned that to Rocio. So anyway, that's just to say, in terms of the effect of this as a recorded experience, there's more to it. Now, my comments tonight relate to the meeting that I viewed for May 4th, where the county was here, the city was here together. And out of that emerged some conversation about a potential property swap, the derelict boat landing for 50 acres of Fisher Farms as the place to move the county fairgrounds to. My concerns about that is how far down the road we are with the potential property swap. And we haven't really had any public discourse, debate, analysis, or input so far. To my knowledge, maybe there has, but I've been unaware of it. And first, I want to thank you for in that meeting, you kind of pulled back and you said, well, let's talk about it. Let's just focus on landing for right now. And then also because the mayor said, you know, any decision around putting the fairgrounds at the end of Berry Street, these are my words, not yours, you know, has to be put to the citizens. The citizens and the residents of this committee have to decide that because it's going to change Dayton every which way, up one side, down the other, inside and out. And putting the county fairgrounds at the end of Ferry Street and the resulting changes to Dayton kind of ignores and sidesteps the city's own economic survey that was done in 2023, which summarized in the park plan, by the way, this way. Almost 90% of the respondents identified small town feeling as Dayton's key character. The rural surroundings and classic town square were also important local features to residents. Survey comments suggested many ideas for downtown improvements with the caveat to retain small town feeling and atmosphere. This topic of a land swap has sort of been out of the public eye. As one county commissioner stated, the idea was initiated by an employee of the city. It's not here anymore. The concern is that the appraisals for the two properties, which were mentioned in that meeting, may have been taken out of the original context, or maybe the city did pay $9,000 to appraise those properties to see if the land swap itself carried any water. The property swap and moving the fairgrounds has never, to my knowledge, been in a public meeting except for May 4th. And even then, it was not on the agenda. The land was on the agenda. And to have this council and the county commissioners tie those two property deals together comes by virtue of private, behind the door conversations that have occurred. Perhaps in executive sessions, I recognize I'm not suggesting something wrong happened, but I'm saying it didn't involve any public input. The commissioner who is up for re-election spoke with a zeal as if ready to cut a deal that night. And yet another county commissioner was saying, wait, we haven't even had work sessions on this topic of moving the county fairgrounds at the county level. And still another person who's campaigning to be a county commissioner is wanting to build an amphitheater around here. So Fisher Farms would double the acreage the county could play with. And maybe they would do both, fairgrounds and amphitheater, who knows? But none of the discussions and about a property swap or a property deal or property sale should be happening until after elections are completely said and done at this point. This proposal to move the county fairgrounds to Fisher Farms at the end of Ferry Street is a gargantuan change for this community. Even if we all wanted it, there are huge implications for our beleaguered water supply, let alone our quality of life here in this small town. And during the 2 years it takes the county to study and plan, who's to say they wouldn't decide, oh, wow, that's a great place to put the jail. Let's put the jail out there. Or, hey, you know, we don't need all the acreage. Let's sell some of it to a developer. Okay, you know, the Fisher Farms acreage is a valuable resource for Dayton's development in the future. Development that could produce property owners who actually pay taxes that would further enrich the community. The derelict boat landing, with the barely minimal care given to it by the county over decades, they should actually pay Dayton to take that over, take the liability and the fix up of it. They spoke of access approval or leasing to us, so for Dayton to go and gather money and get grants and get the money and fix it up. I would ask you to focus on landing and the fairness to Dayton. It is in our urban renewal area and our urban renewal plans. And how many years of fixing it up and integrating it into our way of life here before the county says, thanks for all your work. We own it and we're taking it back and we're going to charge fees for you to use it. So this ends my comments. Would you like that? Leave these over here.
Thank you, Judy.
With Rocio, that is not put into your words.
Thank you.
So that's it. And I appreciate everything you're doing. I'll watch it later. Thank you, but I'm going to leave now and leave you to it so you can get it done.
Thanks, Judy.
All right, next up is Ari Gray. I just maybe have a question. I know you are part of the budget committee, and I don't know if there's a protocol or policy on speaking public to be heard when you're part of. um, Any direction?
Not sure, are you speaking as a citizen or?
Any
I can
objections?
come back after the budget is done.
If there's no objections, we'll go ahead. We'll go.
The concerns I mean, it's urban renewal, right? So my concern is the condition of the urban setting that we're in.
Okay. That's what I was trying to clarify, if it was budget
Yes.
related.
No, not budget related in the sense of being on the budget committee.
All right,
Thank you.
go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you, everyone. Well, I was gonna say guys. Well, we have guests. Thank you. Ari Gray, 11-year resident of Dayton. I work in as a hospitality professional. I understand that success lives at the intersection of expectation and experience. Right now, the expectation created by Ferry Street from Third to the bridge undermines the experience found throughout many of the beautiful spaces our town has to offer. Between ramshackle properties and a roadway that has repeatedly launched vehicles into homes, that stretch leaves a lasting impression and is not a positive one. Everyone in this room is aware of the multiple eyesores along that corridor. As a member of the budget committee, I've seen the steep decline in tourism revenue. It may be easy to say tourism is currently in the toilet, but that really means we must work harder, not retreat. If we make meaningful gains in a difficult environment, we can be far better positioned when conditions do improve. I just have a rhetorical question. I mean, maybe somebody can answer for me later. What is the current status of the pump house project? I've walked past that every day for years. It's being complete. How far is it gonna be completed to the materials? The storage bin, the porta-john, all of that can be removed. Who's funding the bill for this porta-john? They're not cheap, and it's been sitting there for almost 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will get it printed out. Printer.
That concludes those who've signed up. Is there anybody online? What's your,
What was that?
is there anybody online that wishes to speak?
I don't see anybody online, I think they did previous signups either.
All right. Moving on to item D, discussion of proposed 2026-2027 budget. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everybody. No changes since the last meeting.
Is this an urban renewal?
This is for the urban renewal budget. Oh, okay.
There's no changes, and I believe we had discussion last time. Go ahead and move on to item E, if someone would like to make a motion. Mr. Chair.
I move to approve the budget of the City of Dayton Urban Renewal Agency for the 2026-2027 fiscal year in the amount of $27,028.
There's a motion to approve in a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Right. Motion passes unanimously. Next is item F, motion to approve taxes for the 2026-2027 fiscal year.
Mr. Chair.
Ms. Council.
Oh, are you expecting a motion?
You can,
Cool, that sounds good.
you can either say a motion or if you have something to say.
No, that sounds good. Sorry, the handoff, I misinterpreted. Move to approve I move to approve tax increment for the maximum amount of revenue that may be raised by combining the taxes to the Dayton Urban Renewal Agency Plan under section 1C, article 9 out of the Oregon Constitution and ORS chapter 457.
Second.
There's a motion to approve in a second by the mayor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? All right, motion is unanimous and passes. With that, we will adjourn. All right. Adjourn. We'll wait till 7.
I have a question, I don't think it's official. Would anybody be are you, is anybody available and would you like to carpool with me? I would like to go. I let them know that I was up in the morning, whether it'll be the 4th or the 22nd.
That's why.
So I can take 2 people in my car. And it's daytime, so
And the bugs and stuff in those houses are out.
All right, we'll call to order. Are we ready? All right, awesome. We'll go to the City of Dayton Budget Committee meeting. And first item is call to order, and we already did pledge of allegiance, so we'll skip that. Roll call, we are still all here, and we do have one member who is joining us online. We'll move on to item C, appearance of interested persons, and we'll wait one moment to see if anybody signed up. No one signed up for appearance of interested citizens, and we have anybody online?
We do not.
All right, so we will move on to item D, discussion and proposed fiscal year 2026-2027 budget. City manager, would you like to?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good evening, everybody. I'd just like to summarize the changes since the last meeting, but before I dive in, I'd like to state, as you know, as I explained in my budget letter, this budget has some staff changes. One of those staff changes involves defunding a currently filled city position. And I still adhere to that recommendation. I believe that's necessary to achieve fiscal sustainability. However, we also need to be open about what that means in terms of operations. So our library director has some information that she needs to bring to your attention. So before I just go into my changes, I'd like for you just to please direct your attention to her, Cindy.
Thank you. As the library assistant position is being eliminated effective July 1st, Triva asked that I make sure the council is aware of the impact this change will have on library operations and on the community that we serve. After July 1, there will be no backup staff available to perform library functions. This means that if I'm sick, attending appointments, taking vacation, participating in training, or otherwise unavailable, the library will need to close. We believe library patrons and the broader community will feel the effects of this reduction in staffing. People rely on the library not only for books, but for internet access, printing, educational resources, programs, including the summer reading program, and a dependable free public space. Prior to losing our HVAC, we had been a heating and cooling shelter. Eliminating Triva's position will inevitably affect the consistency and availability of those services. I understand our financial realities and the fact that difficult budget decisions must sometimes be made. Triva and I both felt it was important to share the operational realities and community impacts that will result from the elimination of this position. Thank you for giving me the time to bring that to your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a question.
Quick question. Do you have some stats? I didn't recall seeing in the budget, some of the stats and usage.
They're in every council packet, so I don't think that they made it into the budget packet as far as usage stats go.
Thank you, Cindy. As this meeting progresses, if anybody has any questions for Cindy, or you want to dive deeper into the operational impacts of the decision before us, please take advantage of this opportunity. I see that one member has their hand raised.
Mr. Chair, Cindy, if I could, and this doesn't solve anything, but are there any volunteer resources that you utilize now in the community to help close gaps or help supplement?
Volunteers are not a solution for staffing the library. For state library standards, we have to have paid staff in the library when it's open.
Thank you.
And we have to be open a minimum of 20 hours a week.
Thank you.
Oh, and it has to be funded by the general fund. Your 20
Follow up,
hours.
Mr. Chair. So if it has to be funded 20 hours a week, we don't meet that standard if you go on vacation. Is this measured as on an annual basis?
It's measured as your posted hours. So they take into effect that sometimes it might be closed for weather or other things like that, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mayor.
In cutting the position, does that mean we will also no longer have summer reading program?
We will have summer reading program, it will just be, it won't be what it could have been.
I just gotta say for the record, my son grew up doing that summer reading program. I helped with the summer reading program. And, it means a lot to the community, so, I mean, with everything going on, it just feels like, is there some way we can wiggle or jiggle in order to provide that? It does mean a lot to the community, and with so many things being crazy around the world and everything, even taking those resources away could be quite detrimental to somebody.
There will be summer reading. So if, I've already spoken with Cindy about this, if we need to reduce library hours so that she can dedicate time to that, that's what we'll do operationally.
Well, it's not just the summer reading program. I mean, I started thinking about how many people come in there and fill applications out online. How many people come in there and pick up their IRS forms? How many people come in there with a question about something that the librarian can help with? It's a resource I think we tend to sort of omit out of our minds because we have these all the time. But not everybody has those or access the same way you or I do, so just saying.
Sure. I think the hope, okay, sorry, I need to work on my head off, I keep interrupting you, I apologize. I think the hope is that some of this is just temporary, you know, I mean, looking at Jeremy's memo, you know, the general fund increase in 2,000, you know, with this budget, I mean, that's a water drop in the bucket of what we need to accomplish. So hopefully, you know, the flexibility will come back in time, but stability is the most important thing on a short-term basis for sure, thing. But full support if we can make it happen in the future.
And so could you refresh me on what the line item amount was on funding that part of the library
It's right around $22,000,
a year? And how many hours a week is that budget?
15.
Do you think we could reduce it instead of being a 15-hour week to like a 10-hour week project budget? I mean, it at least would help a little, maybe. Maybe split the difference. Do you think that the assistant would be willing to reduce their hours?
Yeah, I mean, she did last fiscal year when we moved her from 20 to 15.
Yeah.
She might be amenable to that. I mean, she volunteered for years and years before she got a paid position. She's been here forever and she loves the library.
Yeah.
And we have members of the community that come in specifically when she's working, you know,
Yeah.
to work with her and things, so.
Well, I work 5 hours every other week, and yet it doesn't seem like much. Oh, yeah, you're only working 5 hours every other week, but honestly, that even 5 hours every other week is a significant amount in terms of my presence and what I do.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, instead of just discontinuing the position altogether, if we reduce it to even a 7-hour a week or a 5-hour a week position, and I know temporarily with the hope that we can keep some continuity, and then maybe it is temporary, we can jump it back up to some more meaningful level when we get more money in the general fund.
Can't, you know, I don't want to speak for her, but I think that would make her feel valued if something.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Because she's actually should have some credibility around here by now,
Mhm.
with as much time as she's put in. How do you feel about that, Jeremy, in terms of our budget?
Well, let me redirect question.
Oh, sorry, excuse me.
So I know we were going off into personnel and then we're going off into library services, and this feels like it's adjacent to the budget conversation. And knowing that if things change, if revenues change, you can make changes to personnel. Do you want to maybe just speak to us what that looks like? And I know we had, you know, some situations in previous years where, you know, the budget was approved and then new numbers or things came out, what that looks like.
So let's just say that the budget committee approves, the budget is presented. There's $0 for library system. Let's say the budget outlook improves. The city council after budget adoption could approve the supplemental budget to put more money in there. In which case we could go and rehire somebody Our personnel policy gives us the flexibility to recall somebody if they're amenable to working for us again after being laid off. But I would caution the budget committee, even if we're adding, $5,000 back, for every dollar that we add back to the general fund, we need to find offsetting cuts. The graph that I showed the budget committee at the last meeting tells a stark and concerning story about the general fund financial condition. And we've got to make some hard decisions, folks. This time last year, we were having the same conversation. We started adding stuff back. So I'm gonna insist that if we start adding stuff back to the general fund, we need to find a dollar for dollar effect elsewhere.
That's definitely.
Thank you for that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
in alignment with this question, one of the items that we're gonna be considering here tonight is our general fund tax rate. Right now, it's being proposed at 1.70 per $1,000 assessed value. What was it last year?
The same. That's our permanent tax rate. That's been our tax rate since the early 1990s.
There lies our budget problem.
Thank you. And the reason why I'm asking that is because I'm gonna reemphasize the point I made at the last meeting. The health of the general fund is, as a citizen appointee on this committee, my number one concern. The wanna have, the gotta haves, force us to make really challenging decisions, and the tax rate also is part of that. I don't know if that's something that can be revisited. I can only work with what's in front of me here. And as much as it pains me to cut services, I feel like we have some hard trade-off conversations, and as I walked away from the last meeting, I was startled by the fact that this council and this community is struggling with the hard decision as to whether we fund special events or a part-time lawyer position. I would argue that neither one of those are indicators of good health financially. And I believe we have to make these hard decisions. Give the opportunity for the council to go back and provide a supplemental decision-making opportunity. But as a council or as a budget commissioner here, I'm gonna stick with what's proposed for now and give them the opportunity to make decisions at a later date. I just want to go on the record with that, because I'm startled by how thin the margins are and the hard decisions that are in front of us. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
I'd just like to echo what was just said. With $2,000 of wiggle room, if we go beneath that, we fail. And as much as we would like to, fund everything and everything, we just don't have the liquidity to do that. So, we're barely succeeding in this budget as it stands, with the things that we demanded back last time. So I think I would just echo what was said, is the health, the general balance is the most important part. And while not healthy, it's, the proposed is, it lets us limp along.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, the budget committee needs to have correct information, and I want to clarify the $2,000 figure. The general fund condition improved by $2,000 with the changes that I've made here. So at the last budget committee meeting, I was projecting fiscal 27, it would end with 96,000. With the changes made here, I'm projecting it will end with 98,000. So I'm projecting June 30th, 25, or I'm sorry, 26, with the $75,000 general fund balance. With this budget, I'm predicting fiscal June 30th, 27, a $98,000 general fund balance. So just want you to be aware.
May I speak briefly?
Yes, Councilman.
So we approved an $80,000 overrun on a project that we had already bid out. And I'm still a little bit smoked about that. I have to tell you that as a city councilman, I'll just be frank about it. And so now we're talking about 20,000 for I believe, a position that was worth something in terms of the integrity of our city. So we can cough up 80,000 for an expense that should have been covered in the original bid. And then we end up having to pay out for it as an extra. And now look, now that's more than 4 times the amount that we would have needed for the library thing. So I really think this is a really good lesson for all of us here, budget committees and councilors, everybody, and that is, if you have somebody that comes to your door and says, I'm gonna do a project for X amount, and we build a contract that says, yes, that maybe we should review our change orders a little bit more thoroughly. As a contractor for many, many years, I'm telling you, if I came up with a 30% change order on a project, I would have, most likely I'd be sued. So this is all about how much money we have in our general fund, and I totally understand that. I'm a guy that likes to balance his books. I don't carry credit card debt, I don't carry automobile debt, I don't carry house debt, I don't like debt at all. But I also hold people accountable who are offering services to me, knowing that the money that I have to pay for somebody for something that they want is gonna come out of my pocket somewhere down the road. And this is really a good example of that. So I mean, it's probably not gonna change the outcome of what's going on today, but there's a cause and effect in here. And this cause and effect is agreed upon by every member of the council who agreed on the things that we've agreed on. So I really would like for us to be a little bit more stringent about how we're managing things, especially when people come to us ask for $80,000 more for a project that they've already did. And that's all I really want to say about it. I just needed to get that off my chest.
What a clarification, the water fund though, that was attributed to, not the general fund? Correct. So that it wasn't, it's unrelated.
And the other.
I'm not saying it's, this
We
is,
were warned during that meeting, however, that there was a possibility of this happening. So we went into it knowing that, so.
no, this really, I don't see it that way at all, and I never will. Even though it's paid for by a different fund or whatever, this has to do with the philosophy that we have sometimes, that I think that people really be better about where we're cutting things and what we're looking at as expendable, really honestly do. You know? Okay, I mean, as a city council member, I feel it's my duty to say that, to be honest with you.
Thank you, Councilor Peterson.
I hear what you're saying, and I kind of think it goes, swings back to what you just said. It's alarming how small our margins are. Because things happen. Things happen and suddenly you've gotta fix that water pipe or whatever. And so with such small margins, it's skating on thin ice. And I agree with you that it is alarming.
Mr. Chairman, one comment and one question. I think Commissioner or Councilor Over brings a fair point. It's an issue of principle, not just funding source. How we manage other fiscal issues relates to this fiscal issue. And I think that's the point I'm hearing you say, and I wanted to acknowledge that. My question is, to the city manager, Jeremy, within this proposed budget, being a city manager is a big responsibility. What within this proposed budget or outside of the proposed budget keeps you up at night?
The general fund.
Okay. I wanted to hear your concerns before we go much further, because at the end of the day, I think your level of intimate knowledge of it and understanding as the person who manages so many of these, what you wake up worrying about.
Yeah, we were in a serious cash flow position last year with the general fund. And that's the answer your.
Thank you.
And at the last meeting, Jeremy, you talked through a little bit more detail and how you looked for, financial assistance, and you were denied, or the city was denied because we didn't have, because of the amount of, our general fund being so low and the revenues. So that all weighs back into the conversation of, events happen and they will happen in Dayton. We just don't know what that is and when it is. But being prepared financially and doing what we can today for the day we need the rainy day fund, however we look at it. Is there more discussion? All right, so we've had discussion for item D, we move on to item E. I do want to just call out that in the city manager's memo, he did provide updated recommendations. And so if we are in alignment with what he's revised and proposed, then we suggest one of those motions go off of the recommended motion that he has listed on page 204 of the memo.
Should have come from the
And let me-
budget person.
And let me just confirmation, city manager, that's what you're looking for.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so I think it can happen either way.
I'll go ahead and move on page 2 for you. I move to, I will move to approve the tax rate for the 26-27 fiscal year at the rate of 1.7057 for 1,000 assessed value for operating purposes in the general fund.
Second.
All right, so there's a motion and a second, and just for clarification,
There's
we're
two
on
motions.
item E, and that's on item F. So
No,
if it's okay to take those out of line, or if we need to do those in order, we can take the motion and there was a second.
and I'm looking here and back there.
Is there somebody on my right?
Already would have said a second.
Pardon?
Yeah, second.
All right, so there was a second, and all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes unanimously for item F. One. We could go for, actually, let's go to the next one, which is 1285 for. Yeah. But now it's.
Mr. Chair,
The second.
can I ask a question?
Yes.
If we approve this second motion for what's referred to as the local option tax fund, will it show up like that on the ballot? Or will it say public safety?
The ballot language.
Change the name.
So
We can change the name in the ballot.
Okay, and I bring this up again because the concept of a local option tax fund makes it seem like it's just taxes.
Yeah.
You have to speak to the why and what it does, and I think it's important that we specify this is a public safety tax fund. It can't be used for library services or special events.
If you open your water bill, there's a very good explainer in the water bill that explains it all. That's a big if.
And my point is on the ballot, what is it gonna say? Because I'm gonna vote no if it just says tax. And I'm being emphatic here for a very specific reason. We're here struggling to fund things, and if in fact we don't tell people what they're for, or how they're being used, the why behind what, we struggle even more. Thank you.
So that was a question, that was an affirmation. And, okay, so if we could have a motion on the local option tax.
I will move to approve taxes for the 26-27 fiscal year at the rate of $1.85, 1.85 per thousand assessed value for operating purposes in the local option tax fund, or whatever you choose to name it.
AKA public safety.
Yes.
I'll say.
All right, there's a second by Chaz, so we have a motion to approve. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. If we could go back to item E, which is motion to approve the budget in its entirety, and that would be the first one, the first recommendation on page 204 of city manager's memo.
If I may,
Mayor,
I move to approve the budget for the city of Dayton as presented for fiscal year 26-27 in the amount of $8,786,006, of which $488,729 is unappropriated or reserved.
There's a motion, as a second. All right, there's a motion and a second to approve as read. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. And that takes us to item G. Adjourn. So thank you, everyone.
Could we do, comments and concerns or questions?
No.
There is not an item on the agenda for comments.
That's
and
not,
concerns.
not committee.
Okay. Cool. So. Yeah.
So.
Motion to adjourn. That's not that. In favor?
Good night.
Yeah.
Opposed? Adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Before we go into the next session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have your comment.
Just because of that. It is so much. Yes. You have to like all.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. That much.